Hi, I'm Scott Kubie, Senior Investment Strategist with the Carson Group. And I want to share with you some of the key events that we saw in the fourth quarter of 2018 and how we think they'll affect markets into 2019. We want to acknowledge that it was a very rough quarter. After a very calm third quarter in 2018 with no moves of 1% in either direction, we got hit with a number of sharp moves both up and down in the fourth quarter of 2018. Some of those moves were really caused by a number of big challenges that we saw out in the world. First of all, the economy started to slow, and the Fed didn't seem all that concerned about it. Second, trade was a big issue. There were no resolutions to the U.S.-China trade dispute, and Brexit remains unresolved as well. And finally, we started to see some weakness overall in corporate earnings. All three of those factors contributed to weakness in U.S. stocks during the quarter. So how do we expect these factors to play out in 2019? There's already been some good news. We had some communication from the Federal Reserve that they are more concerned about the slowing economy than they had communicated after their last interest rate hike, and markets reacted very positively to that. At the same time, the jobs number that we saw from the fourth quarter was extremely positive, and so the economy isn't weakening as fast as some people expect it to. Second, trade negotiations are ongoing. We still continue to see trade as a major risk point in the markets, and if we do not get resolution to U.S.-China dispute as well as Brexit, we think that could be potentially negative for the markets. But those discussions are ongoing, and we do expect some degree of a deal, especially between the U.S. and China, in the coming quarter. I think corporate earnings are going to be a great focus. I think you're going to see some really strong numbers from some companies, but you're going to see some big announcements, either because of trade or because of the slowing economy, hitting companies in surprising ways. So as we go into 2019, we want to encourage you to be prepared for greater levels of volatility. Once markets get volatile like they did in the fourth quarter, they tend to stay volatile for a while. So it's important to get used to it and be prepared for it, and consult with your financial advisor before making any changes. So what are some of the things that we're focused on in 2019 that we think are really going to move the markets? I think earnings are going to be a much greater focus than they were in 2018. 2018, where we talked a lot about the Fed, a lot about policy, a lot about trade. But I think earnings are going to be more important as we're seeing really two major factors. First, the trade and the economy that we've talked about, they're starting to affect corporate earnings. And some companies are winning, some of them are losing, and we're going to want to look to see what indications are of how much weakening we're seeing and how much that's actually affecting different corporations. The other thing is we're seeing greater levels of competition. We've had a lot of disruptive companies that are doing a great job of introducing new business models. And the incumbents are starting to fight back. And how that interplay works out in 2019 will create some big winners, but also challenge some existing and new business models as well.